Happy morning to everybody. A great afternoon and a wonderful evening. Happy birthday, Karthikeyan sir. It's a very wonderful way to have you. If we draw parallelism of several qualities that Mahatma Gandhi had, the highest things of truth and non-violence, truth, honesty, integrity, you imbibe those qualities. We all know that that's how your life has been, and that's how your services have been. Amazing to have you with us. Your message to all of us on the occasion of Mahatma Gandhi Jayanti.
Gandhiji also, the essence of his teaching is non-violence and ahimsa and truth. Wedded to truth. That is what the ultimate purpose of meditation also is. Be compassionate to each other and to all beings, and to lead a truthful life and a life of compassion. And the best way of helping others is just spread a message of compassion and meditation. Thank you. More strength to you, Chandra. More strength to you for this wonderful service to humanity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Karthikeyan sir. We'll certainly hear from some more eminent personalities during the rest of the session. Mahatma Gandhi ji is a great spiritual master. While truth, honesty, integrity on one side, ahimsa has been his such a core value. We all know that. Compassion, as Karthikeyan sir said, compassion towards animals, compassion towards everybody. Now, while these are the known values that every meditator is naturally going to imbibe, selfless service, unconditional giving, unassuming. And in that song that used to sing, Ishwara Allah Tere Naam Sabko Sanmati He De Bhagavan. Long before he always batted for secularism. There is only one, there is different names. That's what we are becoming. Sabko Sanmati, give the best, mati is buddhi, best intellect. Give the best intellect so that they understand, they discern the right and wrong appropriately. When we energize our energy body, our soul, and when we have become one with it, it has to be then, when we become one with this intelligence and spend some time in meditation, it has to be then we become of that so that our intellect has to grow. It has to expand. Who has given right to kill somebody? Even for people. We start questioning our current systems, every system, to the extent of boundaries, of various boundaries that have been drawn. Because in the name of the boundaries is where there is a lot of competence for resources and then dominance and killing and this and that. Whether it is boundaries of states or countries or whatever that is. That's why we know how much he opposed drawing a boundary when India was getting divided. And then another important quality I really like every time I look into Mahatma Gandhiji's, he started this movement in 1905, and then 1947, India got independence. That's 42 years of perseverance. 42 years of perseverance. He never gave up in most adverse situations. So many times he was jailed, but he never gave up. If you dream of something, and if you can take his example, smaller goals, lesser time, larger goals, more time. But that is an example. So those who, when you come into the meditative path where we understand that whatever we wish is got to be possible. It's simple science, but it has to be possible. And then he truly, truly believed it. No matter what, no matter how much pressure, internal pressure is there, we're all going to have the same thing when we are on a journey to manifest things. When you want to do bigger things, there'll be a lot of resistance. He was rebellious, meaning he was totally thinking differently compared to everybody else thought about. Nobody else thought that we can actually achieve independence through nonviolence. Unheard of. But he stuck to his guns. You know, so many times, dozens and dozens of times he went to jail, still he never gave up. People put immense amount of pressure, he never gave up on his dream. So perseverance, as SVB sir constantly says, hard work, perseverance. So perseverance for 42 years is an amazing, amazing thing that if we believe in our target and our goal, then we absolutely can make it happen. Absolutely can make it happen, no matter what that is. So we can go on and talk about Mahatma Gandhi ji. Ishwara Allah tere naam sabko sanmati. When we meditate, the biggest thing happening is our intellect is developing, because intellect drives the mind, mind drives the body, our life. Intellect drives the mind. What is right? Where do I invest my time? How do I react with people? How do I behave? What kind of decisions I take if I'm a business leader or an organization leader? That's why and of course, he always carried Bhagavad Gita in his hand, which is the Bible of spiritual science. The India's greatest scripture, Bhagavad Gita, is the Bible of spiritual science. Which is covering various concepts about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Dhyana Yoga. All three are being covered in that. That's why for many people, Bhagavad Gita is many things. For some, it's absolute Karma Yoga. For some, it's Jnana, knowledge. For some, it's Dhyana. There are different angles to it, but he always carried it. Of course, he must be studying this always. So Mahatma Gandhi is the greatest example of while we all know him as a great son of the soil worldwide, but he's also been a great spiritual master, son of the soul, great spiritual master. That's why the name itself is the Mahatma, right? Atma and then Mahatma. His name itself imbibes that. We've given a beautiful name to him. So on this occasion, dear friends, it's wonderful for us to be meditating and becoming that Mahatma. We can become that. We can absolutely imbibe the qualities of Gandhiji. We take inspiration from them. We take inspiration from several leaders that are here with us. And the more we meditate, the more strength we receive to be whatever that we want to be in our path. The more strength we receive, because we receive that courage. That's the topic that we're having. Emotional intelligence, of how we gain that courage, and then how we develop those relationships with everybody. It's like, of course, Gandhi's life is much, much more. But that will, that determination, in one thing, he's the greatest master. So all the qualities that are there, which meditation is developing as a holistically, the holistic well-being, holistic health, so that we can be what we want. Let's go in once again into our meditation. Those of you new, we are doing breath mindfulness meditation, Anapanasati. Our goal is to empty our mind in this meditation, and to empty the mind, we observe a normal, natural breath. You do three things as a posture. Close your eyes, remove the specs, cross your fingers into fingers, cross your feet at ankle, sit comfortably, spine need not be erect, and observe your normal, natural breath. Any point on the nose, observe the breath is going in, coming out. And as you observe, slowly thoughts become less and less and less. Our breath becomes lighter, shorter for many people, thoughts become less. And as you observe, as the breath is becoming empty, just be with it. And slowly, slowly let go. Or you naturally will forget that you're breathing, or you're observing the breath. That's the time you're on to the other side where you're totally empty. In between, our mind gets distracted. We go back to thoughts of life. The moment you realize, bring your attention back to the breath. So this is the breath and mindfulness process. Prior to that, we are doing something called heart elevation as a way to become more empty, quicker, solid. So this heart elevation process is where you keep your hands on your chest area and then just follow my guidance actively. The crux of the process is to relive a moment from your life of an heightened and elevated emotion like love, gratitude, compassion, appreciation, adventure, joy, any of them, kindness, care, where you felt becoming one with other person, where you dropped any difference in that moment and then literally are with a person, a life, or an animal, a nature, any of them. The idea is to become one with it, everything that exists there. So relive an emotion of love, gratitude, compassion of your life moment. That's the crux of this heart elevation process. Relax yourself. Sit comfortably. It helps to darken the room. Draw the curtains, switch on the lights if possible. Okay. Wonderful. We understand the emotional quotient. Some more. I'd like to have Prem Reddy to listen to his experience.
Myself, I am Prem. I am working as a senior partner say, practice for Wipro. I recently joined. Before that, I was in Cognizant Technologies as an associate director. And now I'm with Wipro as a senior practice partner for Salesforce.
Go ahead, yes.
So when I was working for one company in US called Prudential Insurance, our company was in Wall Street, and I used to travel from New Jersey, and we have to get down in World Trade Center, fifth building, where uh, we have to walk down to our this one. When the first one happened, I was halfway between, like, our office and World Trade Center was around 500 meters. I was halfway between World Trade Center and my office, and a big sound happened. And as it is, it chaos, and everyone ran, and I also ran to my office. We don't know what happened and all. And when second thing happened, I clearly have seen, like, from our 22nd floor, a plane coming and hitting this one other bit tower as well. And we were being all evacuated, and I was exposed to toxins and chemicals, because that day I was almost 2 to 3 hours within that area only. And after that, as ours is an insurance company, our offices are all opened within a week. And what I heard is, like, toxins and chemicals were within the this one for radius of 4 to 5 kilometers for 6 to 8 months. So that toxins, slowly what happens, it has entered and in our bodies, and by it was slowly, I was feeling something, a cough, slight cough, after 3 to 4 years. But by the 2007, when I came back to India, it was more, and I had more of breathlessness and this one. Then when I reached out to doctors, they said there was, like, allergic type of lungs. Then slowly, then when they investigated, it was a pulmonary fibrosis because of the toxins, which I got it through the New York, this one. Then I visited there. I was on drugs for all these days and tried all the medicines, like homeopathy, Ayurvedic, everything I used to try. every day, like I used to cough more, and if I sit in AC, it will be exaggerating. So I never used to go to meetings where there was a rooms and all. So I used to escape also, like, or I used to dial in from my place and listen to the conversations, and all those things happened. And if I say in May, I had like, I thought when I was using Ayurvedic, I was a little bit better, but later on it also exaggerated. And in May, I had like a lot of this one. Then I thought, okay, I approached and they gave some costly medicine. I started using, but I thought this is all not helping. And I approached one yoga master who was 70 years, and he started teaching me yoga as well as meditation. And within 1 month, 1.5 months, I saw a lot of change. With that, I heard about Pyramid Valley also, that this one is going on. And from then, I can say now I can climb steps, two floors also without any breathlessness, and I can walk. I Earlier I never used, like, if I walk maybe at 200 300 meters, I used to get breathlessness. Now I can say I can walk more than 1 kilometer, 1.5 kilometer within this 80 days of meditation. And I do 2 times a day meditation, listening to your SARS video in the evening, and I do that. Morning I attend this, and also I'm like, I can say I have cut down all the medicines. I've come only to the one tablet, which I'm maybe by January I want to cut down that also. That is my target, because I don't want to. It has come from 19 years. I don't want to expect meditation will solve me immediately. So my target is January to not to use any tablet. I'm seeing that I'm confident enough. God has given me that confidence and willpower. So definitely I may be achieving, but it might take another 2 to 3 months. So thanks for the Pyramid Valley, and to my yoga master also, who trained me in yoga and other stuff. And thanks to Chandra sir, meditation is also helping me lot than anything.
Wonderful. So now you say 80% you feel you're healed.
Yes,
Are
yes,
you getting some tests done?
yeah. Only maybe side effect, because of that I'm getting gastric. Because of that, sometimes I get cough after eating food and all. Otherwise, I'm not getting any cough at all, and no breathlessness.
Okay, that's great. Thank you, Prem. Healing any long-term ailments, meditation is the top of their list as a cure. We are seeing many of them. We are seeing many such transformational benefits. I mean, as Carl Spencer says, and we all know it, health and energy are the fundamental for before we even venture into any other material success or any other project, any other thing that we want to do in life. Health and energy is fundamental. So it's great that we are actually on this path in understanding, in practicing various benefits, as well as in practicing this meditation quite regularly. Coming back to, I wanted to, this week is emotional intelligence. This week is about science of friendship. This week is about understanding that how we become very unconditional in dealing with people. So, emotional intelligence is self-awareness, self-expression, inspiration, empathy, and engagement. Self-awareness is leading to mindfulness. We understood this. We are aware, becoming aware of our patterns, and hence naturally it leads to the mindfulness. First, it leads towards greater confidence. We increase our self-worth because we're no longer just expressing our emotions randomly, either to the externally or internally. No longer feeling guilt, no longer expressing our anger. And so naturally there is higher confidence, there is increased self-worth. Self-expression, then with that we have become very determined. We understand that we are here for our own experience, so we becoming very determined, we become courageous to start expressing what is important for us in our life. Gently and firmly, but not arrogantly. So we express it, so that we express it in the work situation with our bosses, with family members, to mother-in-laws, sister-in-laws, daughter-in-laws, whoever that is. We express clearly that, hey, this is important for me, this is what I need. We no longer just merely live for others just because we are being told to, and at the expense of our own happiness. Then inspiration, as we get inspired. So when we start expressing naturally, we start living our life the way we want it. You want a specific project in office, you're going to ask for it, right? You're expressing it. And you want to learn music at home, you're expressing it. You want your quiet time as a woman, as a homemaker at home, you're expressing it, you're taking it. You want to spend time with your parents, you go and then spend that time, you take it. You no longer are pressurized by everybody saying that, children are there, take care, you can't take even a day off. You express it. So as we express, and then naturally, the nature is that when we express, when we ask, then we receive it. So as we express it, we get what we want, and so naturally we become very happy. We start becoming happy. And then since we get what we want, it becomes easy. Since we get what we want, and then we're living that, we start becoming more and more happy. Since we are doing what we want, we become very responsible in whatever we do. We do it with a lot of interest because we're doing what we want. We express ourselves, and so first we get liberated no longer, and then second, people are also responding, environment is responding, so we are able to do what we like most, right? If I like some technology and I want to work on it, if I don't like my current job, you express yourself, you talk to your people in your home, and then say, I want to shift this because I've just been going to office and coming back every day. I have zero happiness in it because I always wanted to become an event manager, but you know what, I'm here doing this particular work. Let me go and then be an event manager, connect with people, be dynamic. So you go and then live whatever that you feels happy to you, and then as a result, you have a great interest in whatever we do. So we become very responsible in what we do. So the meditators do things very responsibly with a lot of interest. When you do with a lot of interest, with a lot of attention, then what happens? Naturally, people around you are also inspired and say, wow, look at his commitment. Look at her interest to the detail, attention to the detail, and how she's doing it. So we inspire. If we get inspired because we are already getting what we want, and the others around also get inspired with our responsibilities, our work. Slowly, as we are getting some of what we want, and as we gain enjoyment, as we gain happiness, see, important, the moment we express itself, half the thing is solved. Whether we get something or not doesn't matter. We're able to express, we have courage when we express it. The moment we express it, that itself gives us that liberation. So we are now developing that interest to do the work, and as a result, we're increasing the responsibility, and we are doing things proactively. Nobody has to come in and tell us, hey, have you finished? Have you finished? Because we're doing what we like, and as a result, we become manager's delight. Manager's delight. Any manager would vouch for it. If they don't have to pursue, fall behind you and then say, track us, then it is great, right? Because then the manager is able to now spend somewhere else all of his time. We become self-responsible. That's the first thing that happens. Self-managing, self-responsibility, we develop because we're expressing what we want, and so we get what we want. And slowly, from what we like, since we already do certain things that we like, for example, if I love music, if I love service and I'm able to take time to do my service activity on a weekend and evening, then naturally I'm so contented and fulfilled that then I start liking whatever else I do. So now I look to go to work and then share my stories. And I no longer look at my work as any more a painful thing because I already am contented with something else I'm doing. If my work itself is what I'm doing every day, what I like, that's even great. So the point is, slowly we move from what we like, we move from doing what we like to liking what we do. We will absolutely go towards liking what we do. Doing from what we like, we go to liking what we do. Both will happen, which means we're slowly developing acceptance. We accept and say, that's fine. At the same time, as we understand that our today is based on the thoughts of yesterday and then tomorrow is based on today, so we understand and say, yes, I know why I'm here today. Because for the last 10 years, the only thing I complained was, I don't know why I'm doing this work. And if this is the mentality I've been doing, of course my today, my tomorrow, for a few more, accept it. But with the full understanding that my thoughts create future reality, so we are completely looking for a great future. So meditators develop an increased sense of responsibility, so they automatically inspire team members. They're quietly doing things. They're happy in doing whatever they're doing. No complaints. So when they're happy in whatever they're doing, they're inspiring others. We become great assets for the companies. Managers love. Team members love us. Then as we do this, dear friends, and as we understand my thoughts create reality, meditators are saying now, there's no complaint. There is no complaint, no judgment. When Patriji, ever since I met him, if somebody goes with a complaint, straight out they have to go away from him. No complaint whatsoever, because complaint means we're putting the responsibility on somebody else. We are judging. Judgment means we are putting somebody else as the responsible for our own life event. If we are that intelligent consciousness, then how can somebody else be taking it away from us? If in quantum field is saying that thoughts create or observation collapse the possibility, then how can it be somebody else is collapsing it for us? It's our interest. Our interest is always there. We have an interest. We have our own decision to be or not be in any given situation. Because we are pursued by others, we are swayed by the environment and the conditions, we oftentimes take decisions that may not be aligning. So when we come to the path of meditation, where we say that everything happening in my life is I am purely responsible. Individually or with a group. But the being with a group is our choice again. We go to a company with a goal, but we forget why we've been there. We start playing politics. We start complaining this person is not doing it, he's not cooperating, and then completely forget our original goal, and then the only thing we do is politics, and then we stop being truthful because, okay, no point even trying to make a suggestion here and there, no point taking up this issue to the management because nobody is bothered. And then we keep complaining to the people around where they absolutely have no use. We talk discussing things. We forget the original goal of why we went to a company, that we wanted to have a fulfilled. Get caught up in this complaints and judgment, saying he's not doing, she's not doing, all that. But meditators, as we understand, we create our realities. We stop complaining. But then more importantly, as an emotional intelligence, since what happens, since the volume of complaints is reducing, then we develop empathy towards people, because then we say, we are observing your emotional patterns, thought patterns. Situations can occur for everybody. If a colleague did not, if a subordinate did not submit, if they not complete their work in time and they say, hey, I could not do it and then I need some more time, I know as a manager it's going to impact you. Before meditation, we were very, very selfish and said, how can we do it? I'm going to look bad in front of my management. But now you look at it and say, okay, I understand that things can happen. Of course, last time also I was not too good, because at my home I had this argument with my family, and then so I just carried that forward. So I didn't have a good mood. It does impact. So you understand from the same lens of yourself. As you understand yourself, you understand others. With self-awareness, we understand ourselves. And then we say, if I'm having it, I'm sure others may have too. So we are becoming empathetic. When you become empathetic, dear friend, then you're allowing failures to happen to other people. You recognize that failure is part of this game. You allow others to fail. You're not being very critical. You're not being brutal. You're not being judgmental about others, because you say, yes, maybe they didn't know. Maybe out of their ignorance, they're saying this to me. You're the daughter-in-law, then maybe out of ignorance, maybe they don't even understand that we're all one. So they may say, maybe their belief system is that, okay, as a daughter-in-law, I have to do things no matter what it is. And so they're ignorant of it. But then when we change, when we become positive, naturally it has to have an impact. So we allow failures to happen, we allow things to be they are, as they are. And then recognizing that we become empathetic to others because we are becoming empathetic to ourselves, so naturally we have to become empathetic to others. So meditation develops empathy. We understand others and allow for imperfections, dear friends. It is happening naturally. And then as we go further, engagement. We recognize that when we are with people, our happiness is multiplied. If you are an individual doing your business, maybe you get to 1 crore revenue, $1 million revenue. But you know that if you are with 100 people, then you can amplify it. You can do many impactful things. We know that. So we increase, so we start taking initiatives. So meditators become natural leaders. They radiate that energy, they become magnets, they attract people around, and they become natural leaders because we have confidence. We recognize that our happiness is multiplied when we are with others. We drop differences, we take initiatives, whether it is service, whether it is working with an orphanage, whether it is just simply growing your company for the greater good. We develop that engagement, so we develop so much of social skill, interact and influence others. We want to contribute wherever we are, not just keep quiet and then see things happening that are against your values and principles that you're developing of your own. Meditators finally become great listeners. You give a lending ear. When we give a lending ear when we lend our ear to somebody, half the problems are solved. Counselors have this great capability of listening and listening and listening. And when we listen, right, I've always told my team members, guys, put up a one-on-one. Don't put an agenda. Just have a one-on-one meeting with your team members. Just that meeting one-on-one. Make a formal one-on-one. Take them a coffee. Or just sit in the room and then listen it out. What do you got? Let them say something. Just by saying it, half of their issues are resolved. They feel, okay, there is somebody there to listen to me. It doesn't have to be always only, don't make it transactional. Don't put any engagement. Just have that weekly one-on-one. I really loved it. Many managers say, no, anyway, I'm interacting with my team members every day. See, the formal and informal, they make a difference. When you put up time in your calendar, you're sending a message to the team members and said, I care for you. You do have a formal time. It is a different thing if you do it every day, every week or not. But have it there, and then you can always write a day before and say, hey, today do you have something to share? Otherwise, my time is there for you. You want it? I am absolutely there. Then they may say and agree to cancel it. It is a different work for their friends. You inspire them, and absolutely, half the problems get solved when we listen to them. So we develop a lot of engagement, and then we take initiatives to become natural leaders. And since we are giving unconditionally, we are becoming very empathetic and giving unconditionally, we develop great friendships. In my life, ever since I came to this meditation path, so many friends have developed, so many. Wherever we go, wherever we travel, there are always people asking so much with love and compassion, asking, please come and have a dinner or lunch with us. Please come and stay with us. Right? They offer so much of hospitality. You go there because what? Because you want to share. You want to learn from each other. That's what we develop. Everywhere, in whichever city we go, there now we have so many friends. Dear friends, so this happens, and that's what we are doing here. I know many of the past meditators here, being on this thing, we have developed great friendships, become so unconditional friendships, right? There is no inside agenda anymore for people. The only agenda is what can I learn from you and what can I give you? Is there a way I can enable you? That's all is the agenda, dear friends. So meditation is fundamentally developing so much of emotional intelligence into us that we develop great unconditional friendships. A friend is someone who knows everything about you, still accepts you as is. This is a definition I learned when I was very, very young, when I was in 4th grade. Somebody gave me a greeting card and I really loved it. A friend is somebody who you know, who you know everything about. Let me repeat it. Friend is someone about whom you know everything and yet we accept them as they are. Can we be that way? Recognizing that we are all here for our own experience, we are all evolving at our own level, our own consciousness. So no judgment, no complaint, no interference. Let them be what they are. Of course, we question them when we have, the only time we have a right to question somebody is when we think it's going to help them grow spiritually. Material reality is there in many, many ways it can be expressed. Why should everybody become only an engineer? Why should everybody become only a doctor? Should everybody only earn money and that's the only way to live? Can't somebody just have their own music? Can't somebody at least not do anything and be at home? Maybe that's the life design that they've come with. Keep branding and say you're lazy, you don't have this will, you can't do this. When we recognize, when we understand the spiritual science bigger and bigger, that each of us, if we are criticizing somebody, that means we know that we are not recognizing the divinity in that person. It can't be. Then Aham Brahmasmi is wrong. Then it has to come with some condition. Aham Brahmasmi only if you are like, hardworking, diligent, this and that. There's no condition. So dear friends, we develop that understanding. That will be a topic next for spiritual quotient. We understand that more. There is this much to say that emotional intelligence is greatly developed with meditation, and ultimately what is there is friendships, and that's what we're developing. That's what we are here. The WhatsApp groups we created are fundamentally for developing friendships. But do reach out, open up, do reach out. There is no secrecy. It has been just wrongly been portrayed. Secret, confidential. I've always been fascinated when Karthikeyan said freely, generously gives his email ID. Whereas I've been told in West and every place, no, keep your emails and phone numbers secret. Not necessary. That comes from a fear of mentality. That comes from a mentality that somebody else is doing something to us. When we recognize that it's all in me, that I'm attracting any situation, good or bad, nobody can come and then actually cheat you, or nobody can come and do something to you just because your contacts are available. It's like that. If we're worried that somebody is going to do something to us, that means we're not understood our power, that we're not living with our own power of thought. So thank you, dear friends. This is great to understand emotional intelligence in more detail. I would like Dr. Arunaji to give her comments on what we're discussing before we close.
Namaskar ji, namaskar. First, birthday blessings and wishes to my beloved uncle, Karthikeyan uncle. So, what a beautiful day, uncle, because you're the most emotionally giving, loving person, compassionate person I have seen in the whole world. Really, your joy is his joy, your pain is his pain. He gives not just the email, he gives of himself, his life, his soul, his time, his care, his nurturing. There are times when he just says the word hello, Arunama, and I've melted already in a pool of love. Nothing more than that. So that is the kind of emotional, quotient which he brings to the world. So it's beautiful, Chandraji, that you spoke about how meditation increases the EQ today. And I have seen it actually in patients where a lot of them are emotionally locked. With meditation, it unleashes so many changes in their personal life as well as, in the actual life. So there's something from the Chandogya Upanishad which is so special, which is for all of us today. It says, earth seems to meditate, the sky seems to meditate, the water seems to meditate, the mountains seem to meditate. God and human beings seem to meditate. So amongst human beings who achieve greatness here seem to share in the reward of meditation. So, it's so much joy for all of us to be connected in this one field of meditation. So really, may we bring so much happiness, peace, joy, and greatness not just to our beloved beloved beings here like my uncle Karthikeyanji, but to all of us, to all beings in the world. So much gratitude from my heart for creating and introducing me to this wonderful space for meditating and sharing joy. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Chandraji.
Thank you, Dr. Aruna. That's great. That's great. Yes, Karthikeyanji has it all. Amazing personality. Let's hear him from Narendra, sir.
Really, that as we go by every day, we are getting a lot of inputs from you. When I correlate with my performance whenever in my banking industry, all these concepts have been very useful. I always believe that all of us are brought to this world with a greater purpose, and we have been blessed by whoever may be the creator with a lot of our energy and lot of possibilities and a lot of enthusiasm and lot of capability. And this I used to tell to our colleagues also. And in our day to day or in our professional work, we may be using it a part of that. So there is a meaning to our life, and we have to necessarily go into the depth of that our inner capability. And today, I have, with this recently 3-4 months, I have been blessed by Dr. Karthikeyan and you, Dr. Mr. Chandraji, that meditation makes us to reach out to that energy, and that energy leads us to greater performance, and it also helps us to reach out to the EQ, emotional intelligence, and as you rightly mentioned, with the self-awareness, self-expression, and by inspired and by with the empathetic and with the engagement, I think all of us will reach the pinnacle of our glory or essence to our life, and we would be not only becoming friends, and we will be a co-participant in reaching the goals of the organization. And as earlier also, I am very much inspired by, and I used to tell that abundance is the very important aspect of our life. And when we become abundance, the organization where we work also become abundance. So quite a lot of organizations, instead of achieving average performance, they have been able to achieve extraordinary performance. So I also had a one concept called BAG, that is in build to last, the big, hairy, audacious goal. So we have to achieve our BAG concept in our personal life, in our institutional life, and we have to inspire our colleagues to achieve and reach the essence of our life. Thank you, sir.
Wonderful, Narendra ji. That's great. Abundance, your concepts, I hope to understand that more from you. Next week, we're going to discuss about manifestation and abundance. The whole of next week is dedicated for that. Thank you, sir. Thank you for those observations. SVB sir, your close friend, your mentor, your guide, if you'd like to say something, I feel like I have to make you speak before we close the session.
Have been all these years celebrating only the birthday of Mahatma Gandhi ji. Today we are fortunate to celebrate our second icon of our country who follows the ideals of Gandhi ji, as Mr. Chandra ji said, is none other than Padmashri DRK. And see, a person after retirement, if somebody is being, liked, loved by all the people, not only from the industry, not only from the spiritual organization, all common men, whether relatives or not, everybody is appreciative of him. They seek his advice. They seek always help from him. And he has been always helpful to everyone who reaches to him. That way, I am very happy that on a very important day where we got the freedom through the efforts of Mahatma Gandhi ji, on his birthday, we are celebrating the second icon of our country. As you rightly said, ahimsa. is the core principle, which Sri Karthikeyan follows it. And another thing, he believes in Bhagavad Gita, and he always believes in sincerity, hard work, and perseverance, which he has been following. And the talk that he gave to us is that meditation is one thing that is going to make everybody happy. And I sincerely believe this statement, and I am following it. Certainly, the meditation gives me a lot of happiness, a bliss, and no doubt what his words and following it is one thing that will help every one of us to be happy in this world, to lead a very happy, peaceful, happy life. With this, I am wishing Sri DRK very happy birthday today on this Gandhi Jayanti Day. Thank you. Thank you, Chandra.
Thank you, sir. That's wonderful. Wonderful. Exemplifying all values of Gandhiji. So we have somebody that's here, Sri Karthikeyan, sir. Friends, thank you so much for staying through. And we'll meet back again tomorrow at 6 a.m. Today, instead of playing the gratitude song, so Das has compiled a 10-minute video on Gandhiji. So we're going to play that. Those of you who want to watch that, feel free to stay back and watch.
This is the immortal life of Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi. Mohandas Karamchand Gandhi was born in 1869 in a conservative Hindu family in Porbandar, Gujarat. He was, by his own standards, a mediocre student who did not shine in any particular field. His religious tolerance found its beginnings in his childhood, for his father had a wide circle of friends of other faiths, and the child Gandhi listened attentively to their discussions. These early impressions took firm hold on his eager mind and lasted his life. To India at the time, non-violence was not just a passive creed. It gave courage and hope to the people, and above all, a voice. Like the light at dawn, Gandhi awoke a vast, slumbering nation. This great little man had an indomitable spirit. He was a gentleman with a faith that could and did move mountains. In the practice of those days, he was married young. His wife Kasturba, simple and unassuming, was silently to take upon herself a large measure of the strain of his turbulent life. South Africa was the background for Gandhi's first attempts at social protest. After a 3-year course in England, where he trained for the bar, the young Gandhi began his legal career in Durban, Natal, on a brief from merchants of his native Gujarat. When Gandhi returned to India in 1914, he was little known outside the urban areas. It was at this time that he founded his ashram, his retreat at Ahmedabad on the banks of the river Sabarmati.
After the day's march through heat and dust, Gandhi and his followers entered the village Dharamshala for the night's rest.
From colonial domination. shortly afterwards he left by the front way. And then they really did see quite a lot of him, even his knees.
Gandhi's understated manner carried overwhelming power. It was how he intended to bring down the empire. Many who met him couldn't help but be impressed.
Which afforded him an opportunity to see the best side of human nature and lent support to his belief that at the bottom there was neither east nor west, came to an end.
Whatever the result of the mission that brought me to London, I know that I shall carry with me the pleasantest memories of my stay in the midst of the poor people of East London. I regard myself as a soldier, though a soldier of peace. I know the value of discipline and truth. I must ask you to believe me when I say that I have never made a statement of this description, that the masses of India, if it became necessary, would resort to violence. I regard myself as incapable in my lucid moments of making a statement of this character. It is complete independence that we want.
If England does not grant your demands, what course of action will you follow then?
Of course, civil disobedience and all other phases of the Satyagraha are always at our disposal, but whether we shall resort to this weapon immediately or what other steps we shall take, I cannot judge at present.
If England grants your demands, Mr. Gandhi, do you intend to have complete prohibition in the new Indian state?
Oh, yes.
Absolute prohibition?
Absolute.
And do you intend also, if India wins its independence, to abolish child marriages?
I should very much like to, even before.
Do you expect England this time will give India full self-government?
That also is more than I can say.
But you are hopeful.
I am an optimist.
You are an optimist. If you go to the second round table conference, will you go attired in native Indian dress or will you prefer European dress?
I shall certainly not be found in European dress. And if the weather permitted, I should present myself exactly as I am today.
Yes. And if the King of England invited you to dinner at Buckingham Palace, you would go in your customary Indian dress?
In any other dress, I should be most discourteous to him, because I should be artificial.
If England does not grant your demands, are you prepared to return to jail again?
I am always prepared to return to jail.
Would you be prepared to die in the cause of India's independence?
It is a bad question. There is an indefinable, mysterious power that pervades everything. I feel it, though I do not see it. It is this unseen power which makes itself felt and yet defies all proof, because it is so unlike all that I perceive through my senses. It transcends the senses, but it is possible to reason out the existence of God to a limited extent. Even in ordinary affairs, we know that people do not know who rules or why and how he rules. And yet they know that there is a power that certainly rules. Law and the lawgiver are one. I may not deny the law or the lawgiver because I know so little about it or him. Just as my denial or ignorance of the existence of an earthly power will avail me nothing, even so my denial of God and his law will not liberate me from its operation, whereas humble and mute acceptance of divine authority makes life's journey easier, even as the acceptance of earthly rule makes life under it easier.
It is believed that the name Sai was given to him by the people of Shirdi, where he led the life of an ascetic by meditating all day under a neem tree.
Ahimsa.
Thank you so much, friends. So meet again tomorrow.